Now, very good morning. In this video, we are going to discuss about the modified Goodman diagram for the torsional stresses. The earlier ones were for the axial loads and for the bending for the problems involving the bending moment as well as the axial loads. However, when we are going to deal with the torsional stresses, our situation becomes different. Why it becomes different? Because of the fact that the mean stresses has got no effect on the torsional endurance limit up to a certain extent, up to a certain limit. Suppose this is the component, this is a circular shaft subjected to the and it is rotating inside the bearings. These are the bearings, and so this shaft is subjected to and this is also subjected to the connected to there is a pulley also present on the shaft, and the pulley is transmitting the power. So the what is the essence of saying is that this shaft is subjected to some torsional stresses, and under those conditions what we can say this it has also been observed experimentally, and this was the sigma a portion, this was the sigma m, and up to certain extent this was sigma a. And now what was this point? This point was the endurance limit defined by SC. Endurance limit is unaffected by the mean stresses. Mean stresses are not going to affect the endurance limit up to a certain extent. Mean SE, that is the endurance limit, is going to remain constant irrespective of the value of sigma m up to a certain extent. That is why up to a certain extent we are going to draw a line which is parallel to that of the x-axis, and but it is only for a certain extent. And now from the SYT, because why SYT? Because in the modified Goodman concept we had found out that SYT is important because it removes the controversy between the actual practical yielding beyond the SYT limit and the theoretical safer region of the Goodman line. It removes the contradiction. That is why we also draw a line. And now this is the portion of the Langer line, or the first limit of the stress cycle, and these two, and this is nothing but it is inclined at 45 degrees. Now why inclined at 45 degrees? The reason is that this is SYT on the x-axis also, SYT on the y-axis also, and since these two things are defined by SYT, it is logical that the distance from the origin will be same, because the level of the stress is same, which is nothing but SYT on both the axes. So that is why this forms an isosceles triangle, isosceles right angle. If this is 90, then obviously these things are going to be of 45 degree angle. So that is why this angle is 45 degree, and since we have drawn it now we can very well see that why this straight portion has come up and why this line is there. So this will be the criteria, this will be the region of safety for the torsional stress involving the torsional shear stresses. Torsional shear stresses having tau A and tau M. What is tau A? Tau A is the amplitude torsional stress and tau M is the mean torsional stress. Now this is the region of safety O, A, B and C. This is the region of safety. Yeah, I am showing it now. Rest of the procedure is same. We can very well be versed with these type of equations. And these are similar equations, similar to 5.41. Now we are going to deal with the impact stresses. Our next concept is the impact stresses, and I do hope that these Goodman diagram, modified Goodman diagram, either they are for the torsional shear stresses or for the bending, involving the bending stresses and the bending moments. These or the axial ones, axial loads or the axial stresses, these are clear to most of the students. In case of any problem, you can also ask me. Now we talk of the impact stresses. First of all, we have to define what is an impact. What is the definition of an impact? Impact is nothing but it is a collision. Collision of one component, which is, suppose this is one component and it is in motion. For it to collide with, for this object 1 to collide with another object 2, at least one of them has to be in motion, and at least one of them has to be in motion. So this criteria actually says that suppose this is in motion, object 1 is in motion, object 2 is at rest. So when it is moving, when object 1 is moving towards object 2, it will collide with it and it is said to have an impact. Now impact load is actually different from the static load. Static load is applied slowly in a static manner. Static load is actually static in the amplitude. Suppose this is applied to suppose a 100 Newton force is applied to this component. So this is a static load. What is a gradual load now? When we also define gradual load is a load which is applied gradually. Slowly we are going to increase the load. This is the component and we are going to gradually apply a load. Now these type of things happen when we do the ultimate tensile UTM, when we ultimate tensile stress diagram, when we are going to plot, when we are going to do a test on the UTM machine, then the load applied is the gradually applied load. Gradually it increases and ultimately it goes to the UTM, ultimate tensile strength limit, and then finally it ruptures. This sort of diagram we are going to get. Now what is the impact stresses? Impact stresses are applied very suddenly. We can see induced in the component due to impact. Impact forces are observed in the components. Impact forces are applied rapidly. Please note the word rapidly. They are applied very suddenly. They are also not static, they are also not gradual, they are applied suddenly. Suppose that this is a component, this is a shelf, and this object is kept on this particular shelf or this particular base, and suddenly the shaft is removed. Now this component will suddenly fall into the ground. Then it will exert an impact, it will exert an impact force, impact load on the ground, and consequently impact stresses may be generated in the ground or in the base. This is the ground or the base. This was a shelf. Shelf in Hindi mean almirah or some type of base. Another such situation we can see in the diagram which is shown in the figure 5.57. We have a particular component which is loaded like this, and we also have a moving collar. This is a moving collar, it can move like this, either in this direction or in this direction. We also have a situation like this. We also suppose this is a collar, this is a collar, and we also have and it is a moving moving object. It resembles a moving object actually. So it is up to us. It is a moving weight, whichever way we are able to give them the name. This is a shaft and it is a moving weight, or a moving collar also we can say. And this is a collar, or this is the projection of the body itself, or it is a collar, more specifically collar, and it is not moving, it is a collar. In order to avoid the discrimination between a collar and a moving collar, we can say it is a moving weight. Simply, it is a moving weight and it is a collar. Since it is a moving weight, it can move up and down.